go. Just talking to the person that's there. Yep. Alright, so you've got the screen share set up there.
Oh, I hate screen share because it never bloody works. Because by the time I dump out, dump in, I'm
so what are you sharing though? So what's the deal? What are we doing? But you're going to have to screen share for those online. Here, I can set up a full screen. We can do that.
Yeah, full screen.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
All good. That's what we're here for, to concierge and look after this side of things. Okay,
Now
so
I've got no slides.
no, you do. Do you want to just show your slides on Connect, or do you just want to show your slides? Have you got them on USB or something?
Okay, no, I know what we'll do.
Because we can
What
keep
we'll
it
do
on.
is Canva slides, because this is the thing with Backdoor Collaborate. So we Canva slides completely.
No, we can do both, because I did slides and everything with mine.
You can, I can't.
Well, I'm happy to go through it for you.
I
Yeah.
can't. So what we'll do is we'll use that and just tell them that slides are on the side.
Amy, can you make an announcement,
Already
please?
sorted.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. That's what we're going to do.
Because I was just going to say we can put PowerPoint up here if you'd like.
No, it's fine. I hate Backdoor Collaborate with people. So what we're going to
I
do
know,
is
but we're trying to do
minimise
this so that everybody
absolutely.
else gets to see everything.
Which is why we do
We
it
don't
this
really
way.
have much on the...
Oh,
we
okay,
don't
so
need
not
much
much on the slides. All right,
much on
cool.
the slides.
No worries. Well, your Moodle instance is ready to go. We need to...
Oh, do we? All right, well, let's kick off.
And you're ready to go on that one.
Beautiful. Okay, hi and welcome. There's a range of technology going on this morning which I'm not even going to begin to understand. So I'm Mel and this is Shane. We're from the University of Canberra. I work inside a faculty of Business, Government and Law. I'm actually a project officer. I'm not an educational designer or an educational person at all. I just kind of do Moodle stuff. Shane is from our teaching and learning area, which is managed through Central, but manages all the support. Shane's actually a Mahara expert, but he actually bailed me out considerably in relation to Moodle and helped with the creation of the bolt-ons. Shane's now going to explain to you the red and green objects on your table.
So that's our version of mobile technology, just to flag your responses to some questions throughout the presentation. And the post-it notes are just to capture some of your thinking around badges a bit later on as well.
Okay, so before we move on, you will need a red or a green. You will need a red and a green object. For those of you online, I apologise that you're not partaking in the beauty that is kindergarten. Excellent. Okay, so before I move on, when I came to Moodle last year, it was my first time at a Moodleposium. I had no idea what Moodle was, let alone what a badge was. So could I just have a show of red or green? Green means yes, I know what a badge is. Red means I've got no idea what a badge is. So if you could just show me a red or a green. Score. Okay, so that means we can bypass the whole concept of what a badge is. Awesome. Next one, same principle, green is yes, red is no. You can see how this is going to go today. Do you use badges in your institution?
What about, do we use badges now?
No, it is a general generic. No, are we currently using badges? It's really hard to see you guys with the light behind. That's cheating. For those of you online, I have one person in the room holding up both. Okay, so a bit of a mix there and some reds. Okay, that's interesting. What we've done inside BGL with badges is I actually learned about badges last year and got really, really excited about it. I'm actually a gamer. I've actually just had 3 days at PAX. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's about 100,000 people in the Melbourne Convention Centre gaming for 3 days. So I'm a little tired, so I do apologise for that. But what was attractive for me about badges is the gamification element and the reward-based system. So what we've actually done inside BGL is developed bolt-on modules. Currently you can see on screen 3 that are developed so far. And we actually have developed a badge architecture structure that sits behind it that Shane's going to talk about. The reason why we've done this is these are outside curriculum support. So it's students who are coming into our faculty, usually from other faculties, to do things like law units and don't know how to do law research. So the Introduction to Legal Research is actually designed specifically for non-legal people to learn how to do legal research. It means that the academic doesn't have to teach them how to do it. It means that if the student is struggling, the academic can say, go off and do this bolt-on, show me you've got the badge, and then we're going to have a conversation, and all that sort of stuff. Blackboard Collaborate we actually developed as well because we didn't think that there was enough student support for Blackboard Collaborate inside the university. And then we did introductory, the last one you can see where you can't see the title, is Introductory Mathematics for Economists. We have a lot of people coming into the faculty to do economics who don't have enough maths behind them. So these modules are in addition to the curriculum. They are currently optional. It's currently a tool for academics to use for students to go to. Hi, you're failing my unit. Have you thought about doing this bolt-on because your maths sucks? Just FYI, Shane and I can't pass the maths module, and you only have to get 50%. That's the other thing we did with the modules. In order to make them not scary, pass marks 50%. But I think I'm handing over to Shane now, and he's going to go into a bit more in depth.
Thanks, Mel. Something that was said in the keynote about personalised learning struck a chord with me in terms of badges, how they can be extracurricular activities that students can be, as Mel was saying, asked to do, which can then tailor the learning experience for that student. One of the nice things about these modules is that they're pretty small. So in terms of the introductory to mathematics for economics, there's a series of videos that the student works through, and we use conditional release for the badge after the student completes a quiz. As Mel said, I looked at the answers as an instructor in order to pass that quiz. But you can see once you earn a badge, Moodle populates your profile with the badge. So from an instructor's point of view, it's really valuable because if they do an academic integrity module or some other module, the badge populates in the profile, and then the instructor can look at the profile of the student and see what skills they've acquired over time. And so I only have two, but and we have also written a script where the unit convener can grab a report of all the badges that students have earned, so across the whole cohort. So there might be 200 students in the unit, and they don't want to go through everyone's profile. They want a really quick way of seeing what badges people have. They can download the Excel report and load that up and have a look. From a Mahara conference at the start of the year, there was someone who spoke about the tendency of some students to get quantity over quality. So some students will actually go out and try and earn every possible badge they can and think that's a good thing. But you'd have to encourage students to be selective about what they're earning and try and look for patterns within what they're earning and try and through what they're earning get a sense of depth of quality around what they're trying to do, rather than just go out and try and earn everything, because that doesn't really, what does that say? You can get a lot of badges. So another interesting point is the emerging practice, I guess, where people will go for a job and the badges they've earned work towards that employment. I think recently I heard a case where somebody was hired based on the credentials they had through badges. Now, if I have 100 badges in all levels of Excel and I go for a job and I can demonstrate that I know Excel really well through these badges, that's fairly compelling. So in terms of those, just quickly on those videos, Bilal, the fellow who put those videos together, used I think an iOS app, wasn't it, to to record his screen, and so those videos are fairly dynamic, that students can see him building up the equations and things like that. So it's not a talking head, it's really like a notebook that he's writing into. In terms of what it took to create these modules, yeah. Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll zoom in on the website a bit later. So, yeah, this, when you're talking about creating badges, you're talking about creating modules. You're talking about creating learning experiences that you then award a badge for. So it's not quite as simple as just creating a graphical badge. And even when you do that, you need a design language around what are all these badges going to look like that you're creating. So if you go off, oh yeah, I'll just create a badge. Well, that badge is probably that could be in its life cycle could be 5 years. So that first badge you create that looks nice and whatever, but doesn't fit the look of any of the other badges that are created after that. How am I going to tell that a badge is from UNSW if they all look different? How am I going to tell that it comes from a subset of UNSW's projects if that badge doesn't look anything like the rest of UNSW stuff? So you've got to think about a design language around this stuff, because it ultimately comes down to branding of your organisation as well. So we used a construction checklist. We tried to create an architecture. You might even have levels of a badge. You're going to have XL bronze, XL gold, XL silver, or you're just going to have XL. And what's that for? So a lot of thought has to go into what these things are for, how they're earned. All of these details need to stay online so that the person who earns the badge, who then shares it with someone to get a job, that person then can come back and get a sense of what the person had to do to earn that badge. And these are the fields that Moodle needs, so you need to think about expiry, it's a big one. And if you're in the faculty and you'd say you're teaching finance and you need the financial add-on Excel module, then the academic or the person proposing it needs a form to communicate what they're trying to do to the people who then create the badge or approve the module, or both. So you might have related units. What's this module related to? Doesn't mean that other units can't use it later. And then following the constructive alignment framework from Biggs and Tang, you can treat a module just like any other curriculum, like a unit or course. They'll have outcomes, context, content, assessment, things like that. The badge becomes like an HD or a D or a P or whatever. It's a representation of your performance earning that module. So I'll hand back over to Mel, who can talk about other stuff.
Thanks. Okay, so I don't know what to do now. If I do, there we go. Let's just go back to that. Okay, so we're now actually moving into the pedagogy. So as Shane just said, it's not just a matter of going into Moodle and making a badge and saying, here, have a badge. There's actually got to be a whole concept behind it. What is the learning skill? So it's not dissimilar to what the gentleman was saying just then. Sorry, very tired. You can't just have a simulation for the sake of it. You've got to understand, what are you trying to teach? What is the skill you're going for? Where are you going with that? In the legal research module, the quiz is actually so well honed. The questions are, on page 32 of this case law, what's the third letter in? That's actually the question in the quiz, because the skill that he wants the student to demonstrate is the research. So if you can find that letter, you've done the skill. So he's really thought that one through. It's quite a clever little module. Anyway, so we're now moving into the sort of pedagogy. So for those of you who do use badges already in your organisation, and those of you who would like to use badges in your organisation, do you use them as a carrot? Green for yes, red for no. So are you presenting it as an incentive? Or, personally, do you think that badges should be used as a carrot? Well, we've got one yes. We've got a maybe. From my indecisive person earlier, I've got a maybe. That's all right. Okay, right. That's interesting. Okay, of course, the next question is do you use them as a stick? We've got a no from the indecisive. That's interesting. Okay. Is it that you don't actually, it's something that you've never thought of? Is that why, is it because you haven't used it? Is because you, I'm actually asking this. Is it because you've never, huh?
We're not using them yet, but the plan, I don't see the benefit in a stick approach.
Okay.
We're taking the reward approach.
The reward approach? Okay, so it's the carrot. Sorry? Recognition. Okay, so again, that's carrot. Okay, so all that's carrot stuff. You all know the story of the carrot and the stick? Good. Okay. We currently, as I said, are using them in the bolt-on modules as a, go off and do it, have a little bit of a carrot, we love you, we care for you, we want to support you. I've actually started conversations with the Dean of Students about using them as gateway assessment. Do you know what I mean by gateway assessment? Red, yes, no, red, no, green, yes, gateway assessment. Guys, you've got to put something up. This is a knowledge question. You either know this or you don't. Okay, gateway assessment is a piece of assessment that you do in order to be able to move forward onto the next piece. So gateway assessment inside of the University of Canberra, we have the academic integrity module, which is basically don't plagiarise. A lot of our units inside our law school require that you complete that before they'll mark anything else that you submit. So it doesn't count towards your grade, but it's a gateway. You actually have to complete it to move on. You'll notice that's gaming language. You've got to complete level 1 to move to level 2. So fundamentally, one of the things that I'd like to do with the bolt-on modules is actually move them to a gateway assessment item. You cannot get your first assignment in Economics 101 marked until you do the Maths for Economists. Now, one of the reasons why I see value in that is because from a pedagogical perspective, we have a very, very diverse group of students. If you go straight to the quiz and do the quiz and pass it, then you don't have to sit through all the material. But if you don't have the maths background, or you sit the quiz and you fail it, it gives you an opportunity to then think, okay, this is an area of weakness. I have to go back, I have to learn all that stuff, and then I have to move on. One of the things that I think that we have with our diverse student group is, from a pedagogical perspective, we aren't well supporting our academics to say to students, you need to step up. If you are going to pass this unit, you really have to do some work. And bolt-ons, I think, are a nice way to actually move students into that type of environment because it's scaffolded, they're supported, it's online so they can repeat it over and over again, there's no restrictions. It's not public, so the results aren't published to anyone but themselves and the academic. So it's just that sort of process. So that's one of the things that we're actually starting to look at. You'll notice that I did say I'm talking to the Dean of Students about it. If we are going to do gateway assessment, we are going to need central support to do it inside the faculty. One of the reasons why this is quite important for BGL is that we're the largest faculty in the university and we have the largest cohort of international students. We also have all the students with low ATARs or lowish ATARs who want to go into business because it's a nice platform to enter university to do a range of subjects that they can then specialise from, to suck it and see. Do I really want to go to university? I don't know. Let's go and do business because that's easy to do. So we do suffer a little bit from that sort of stuff, which means we do have a very, very diverse cohort, and bolt-ons are a way of scaffolding their knowledge base outside the standard curriculum. And that's the trick here, it's all outside the standard curriculum.
Doesn't it cease with bolt-on a gateway assessment?
Okay, we're running a bit short on time. Now, on your post-it notes, oh Shane, this is you. Oh, because I need to do my job. Where are you sending them?
So on that point, on the poster note, just write down your thoughts on what the role of badges are in pedagogy. So you've got poster notes on the table. You should have pens from your packs. So just write down what you think the role of badges are in pedagogy. It could be personalised learning, or it could be gateway, or it could be maybe anything that comes to mind, how you think they could be used. And then pop the post-it note up on the wall near the clock or around that area, and Mel will then synthesise those results or what your thoughts are, and then we'll report back to the group about what the group is thinking.
I mean, the question down here about doesn't that stop it being a bolt-on? Okay, is that bad pedagogically? Is that good pedagogically? I am working on this. I'm sure you know what pedagogy is. Questions to Shane while I do this, please.
Yeah. So, do you have any questions about about badges or portfolio thinking, or the role of badges in portfolios? So let's unpack that one. Kind of gateway, if you make it gateway Unless you can publish them back through Mahara as a way of integrating them into your portfolio of stuff